Hey everyone. Today we're going to look at our planet a little differently. We're going to treat it like a patient with a fever. And let's be honest, the symptoms are getting worse. So in this explainer, we're going to run a few tests. We're going to try to find the underlying cause of the illness, and then, most importantly, lay out a treatment plan. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's kick things off with this quote from economist Kenneth Boulding, because it really gets right to the heart of the problem. Our whole economic system, it's built on this one core idea: endless growth. But think about that for a second. How can anything grow forever on a planet that has limits? Boulding's quote really forces us to ask a tough question. Is our most basic belief about the economy just, well, a fantasy?
So let's start our diagnosis. If you think of the Earth as a patient, for a really long time, its vital signs were pretty stable. But lately, it's developed a serious fever, and the symptoms are getting harder and harder for any of us to ignore. For literally thousands of years, our impact on the planet was just a tiny blip. Nature could easily absorb it, no problem. But in just the last couple of centuries, whoa, that entire relationship has been thrown completely out of balance. Let's take a look at the planet's chart, at its vital signs. All right, here's symptom number one, the CO2 spike. And just look at that chart. That's not a gentle slope, is it? It's a wall. After thousands and thousands of years of stability, the amount of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere has just skyrocketed. This is the main thing that's driving up our planet's temperature.
Now, symptom number two. Take a look. It's almost an identical chart, and that is the key. This is the consumption spike, our use of the Earth's resources. We're talking fossil fuels, minerals, pretty much everything. It has exploded in almost perfect lockstep with our CO2 emissions. They're basically two sides of the same coin. The more stuff we consume, the more emissions we create. It's that simple.
And all of that brings us to the third and maybe the most tragic symptom, the extinction spike. The speed at which species are vanishing is now, get this, 10,000 times higher than the natural background rate. This isn't just a fever anymore. This is causing a catastrophic loss of life on a truly global scale.
So you see these spikes, right, in CO2, in consumption, and in extinction? They're just the symptoms. And trying to treat them one by one isn't going to work if we don't really understand the underlying disease. So what is the root cause of this planetary illness?
Turns out, the disease isn't just one single thing. It's the system itself. It's the way we've designed our global economy, the way we pull resources out of the ground, and the way we think about, well, waste. Let's break down this broken system.
Right now, we're operating on what's called an open-loop system, and it's basically a straight line. We take resources from the Earth, we make them into products we use, and then we just throw them away as waste. There's a clear beginning and a clear end. And that end is usually a landfill, or maybe a polluted ocean.
And right here, you can see the fundamental problem. Our linear system is completely at odds with how nature works. Nature is the ultimate closed-loop system. There's no such thing as waste. In a forest, a fallen leaf isn't trash, right? It's food for something else. Everything gets recycled. Our model, on the other hand, is literally designed to create bigger and bigger piles of trash. So why? Why are we stuck in this destructive cycle? Well, it's because the system is driven by a kind of flawed logic, a really powerful, deeply human trap that economists have a name for. They call it a tragedy. It's called the tragedy of the commons. And here's the basic idea. Imagine there's a resource that we all share, like the air we breathe or the water in the oceans. Well, it's in my short-term best interest to take as much as I can for myself. The benefit to me is immediate, right? But the cost of that resource running out, well, that gets spread out among everybody else, and it comes much later. And the tragic result? A bunch of perfectly rational individual decisions leads to a completely irrational disaster for the whole group.
And look, this isn't just some textbook theory. It's happening right now. In India, over 70% of the surface water is polluted. That is a real-world tragedy of the commons. Thousands upon thousands of individual decisions to just dump waste have collectively destroyed a vital shared resource for millions and millions of people.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the fever and we've found the root cause. And yeah, it might sound a little bleak, but there is a treatment plan. And it's all about shifting our thinking, moving away from that broken, linear model to a circular one that's actually inspired by nature itself. The big goal here is what we call sustainable development. And in simple terms, all it really means is meeting our needs today without bankrupting the future. It's about finding a way to create a system where the economy, society, and the environment can all thrive together, in balance.
So what does that actually look like? Well, the circular economy is built on a pretty simple hierarchy. Step one, the best thing to do is to just prevent waste in the first place. Design things better. If you can't prevent it, then reuse materials for their highest possible value. And then finally, whatever is left over should be recycled and returned safely back to nature. It's a total paradigm shift. Let's use a really simple example, food scraps. In our current linear system, they just go to a landfill, right? But in a circular system, we ask, what's their highest value? First priority, can we feed them to animals? If not, okay, can we use them to generate energy in a biogas plant? And the final option is to compost them. See how what we used to call waste suddenly becomes a valuable resource? Now, I know, redesigning the entire global economy, that can feel a little overwhelming. You're probably sitting there thinking, okay, but what can I possibly do about all this? But this is exactly where our individual choices connect to that larger system. I absolutely love this quote by June Jordan. It's such a powerful reminder that big systemic change, it doesn't just happen from the top down. It comes from us. It comes from our choices as consumers, our demand for sustainable products, and even our political actions. All of that creates the pressure that's needed to shift the entire system from a straight line into a circle. So to wrap up our explainer, our planet has a fever. It's caused by a broken linear economic system that's designed to create endless waste. The cure is a circular model that actually mimics nature. So we have the diagnosis and we have the prescription. The only question left is our willingness to act. Are we ready to start the cure?